Right then, guys, how are you all doing? And welcome back to TOON Tuesdays, your weekly roundup of Newcastle United news. How are you all doing? Feeling a little bit excited today. Obviously, Eddie Howe was made officially manager or head coach, shall we say, of Newcastle yesterday. There has been a lot coming out from Newcastle in the last 24 hours. Obviously, Eddie Howe took his first training session today, which will be the hot topic of today's episode of TOON Tuesdays. So we will be going through the photos that have been released. We will go through not only the short video that was released on Newcastle Twitter, but there is also a video almost 5 minutes long of Eddie Howe taking training as well. So we will look at that together. I should say this is a live stream today, so thank you to everyone who is jumping in the chat. Obviously, if you are watching this as a video as well, thank you for joining. Be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new. Daniel, love it. Cannot wait to see Eddie's press conference yet. Geordie TOON Life with all of the info for us there. His first press conference will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. So we'll definitely be on the lookout for that tomorrow to see what he has to say. Already just looking at some of the photos and videos that have come out from Newcastle in the last, as I say, I'm saying 24 hours. I mean, it's not even 24 hours, or it's only just about 24 hours since it was officially announced. But as I say, literally in the last hour or so, Newcastle themselves have been documenting, obviously, Eddie Howe's first day. And we will take a look at that together very shortly. Again, thank you to everyone jumping in the screen in the stream. Thank you, Geordie, for that info there. Absolutely buzzer for the new era to get started. Bring on January. It's a very good point, Joel. You know what it is? I'm sitting here, happy as Larry, quite excited for what is basically, in my eyes, a fresh start. You've got to look at it that way because let's be honest, I'm still smiling. We haven't won a game yet this season. We're 11 games in and we still haven't won one. So although I'm smiling right now, I'm probably crying inside. And I think coming up to the Brentford game in a week and a half's time will be a massive game for not us fans, players, and Eddie Howe as well. He's going to want to make sure that we go out there and he gets off to the start that he wants to get on. Brentford obviously lost against Norwich at the weekend. Norwich got their first win against Brentford. I'm praying to God that we can do the same. Players look buzzing to have him. You're right, Jamie, that there's and again, this goes back to it, when the new owners came in, finally, after Bruce's last-ditch attempt against Spurs, Bruce was let go. And then I'll stand up and be honest and say that I was very keen for Graham Jones to just take over and get Bruce out, get Jones in, because we knew it wasn't working. The problem is with Graham Jones coming in, there was no new manager boost, no bounce from the players, because Jones has been there the whole time. So there was never going to be that get up and go or a new idea or a new plan, because really the players already knew what Graham Jones was about. So now to actually have Eddie Howe step in with a fresh face, like a fresh backroom staff as well. Obviously, Graham Jones has been kept on, or at least he hasn't in the short term, because we've seen him today at training, chatting to Eddie Howe on the sidelines while watching the players train. It's what we needed. It really is. And as I say, when the takeover went through, it was a new era. It was extremely exciting. It's not the same as that, but it kind of feels similar to that. It does feel like this is the fresh start. This is what we've been waiting for. I kind of wanted to get this from Graham Jones stepping in, but we didn't. But now we are definitely going to get it with Eddie Howe stepping in. And as I say, I'm just praying that we can get this ball rolling. Mark saying the players look knackered. They do, mate. It just shows you, there's actually a point in the clip that we will look at very shortly where Eddie Howe is taking the training and he makes a comment saying, it's not, he said, to try and quote him, I can't remember exactly what he said. He said something along the lines of, it's not a criticism, it's just a different way of training. So you can tell that he's straight away, and Newcastle have actually put that out there for everyone to see. So they are publicly admitting, Eddie Howe is definitely doing things in a different way already. And you mentioned that, more effort from Howe in one training session, any player in the last few years. You know what it is? The main man, Adam P, was down at the training ground today, trying to catch a glimpse of Eddie Howe on his first day in training. And he said that up till 1 p.m., the players still hadn't come out onto the pitches. And we find out, I thought, is that because he's got them straight on the tactics board? Get them in that room there. Let's tell them exactly how we are going to start playing football at this club, which I absolutely love, to be fair. He's gone in there. He knows what he wants to do. He's got his game plan. And the first thing he's going to do is say to these players, right, this is what I want to do, and this is how you're going to do it. As it happens, and again, we will look at this in a second, the reason the players didn't come out until 1 p.m. is because they were doing bleep tests inside the big dome at the training ground. So I also love that. The first thing he did was let's find out how fit these players really are and how far off the pace they are. Because we've already seen it. We've seen it in a number of games, but the big one that I think everyone realised this is bad was the Spurs game. 10 minutes we lasted in that game. We went full out too quick. 10 minutes is crazy. Have you seen the NUFC video just released recently? It's a good watch. Some tired lads. Yeah, mate, we are going to watch that together in the next few minutes. Just waiting for a few more people to jump in. I've got a feeling most people are probably watching it already instead of me, to be honest, because it's literally just come out 10 minutes ago. But we will take a look at that. Fan for a long time. I travel 3.5 hours from Manchester to Newcastle every weekend. Hopefully it's worth it now. Yeah, mate, I really hope so. I spoke yesterday a little bit about the fact that Eddie Howe was the man to get the job. Let's be honest, I've been doing how long have I been doing TOON Tuesdays now? Maybe 4? Was this the 4th one? 5th one? 4th one? I don't know. This is a series I used to do a couple of years ago, every Tuesday. And I'm going to be honest, there was never any good news, so I stopped doing it. But since the takeover, since everything's got a little bit of a new lease of life and something to be a little bit happy about and excited about, obviously I've brought it back. And I'm going to be honest, every episode up to now has been discussing who the new manager was going to be. So it's quite nice to sit here and actually know who it is now, rather than just constantly talking about it. I suppose we could bring the odds up on the new director of football instead. Take a look at what the odds are on that, and maybe we can talk about that a little bit later on. But yeah, the big thing is, I sat here and talked about Fonseca. I sat here and talked about Emery. And there's, I would say, 95% absolute positivity behind Eddie Howe. And one thing that, again, I've been looking into quite a bit over the last, I would say from the weekend and the end of last week, where the Emery deal was definitely done, as in not done. And it was Eddie Howe was top of the list. Was, look at some of his old videos and listen to the way he talks about football. And I definitely think, and I'm open to admit that I definitely got carried away with some of the Emery stuff. And I remember I was sat on here with Matty from the Magpie channel, and I went, do you really think he's going to leave, Champions League football to come and have a relegation fight with Newcastle? And he was all for it. And to be honest, I was jumping on the bandwagon as well. But if you take a second look at it, and it's the fact that what Emery will be looking at is how quickly can I get this team to the level where I am now? You know, you're not just going to walk away from Champions League football to then just sit in relegation scraps for the next 5 years. His aim would have needed to have been straight away, how quickly can I get up there? And against the belief of the media and everyone else, and who knows, who am I to say? But I don't think it's going to be in the next few years. I think it's literally 5 to 10 years, and it's a proper project. And as much as you mentioned it there earlier about the January transfer and when can we bring players in. You know, we've got 2 months now where we haven't got any money to spend, and we've got some big games coming up. And as much as I'm sure Emery, would still have worked a good job had it have been him, I just think Eddie Howe has that coaching behind him. He's not really. I think our team is good enough without spending money to not get relegated. We are. We talk about the Bournemouth side that he played in the Premier League with for 5 years, and everyone's obviously talking about the fact that he did get Bournemouth relegated, and yes, that did happen, but no one's talking about the 5 consecutive years that he spent in the Premier League with Bournemouth, with a side full of players who, with no disrespect, were majority Championship players. You look at our side, Wilson, St. Max, Willock, if we can get him going. Dubravka is a top quality goalkeeper if we can get him fit and in the net. I still think Hayden can do us a good job. Almiron on his day can play well as well. I do think we have a team that's better than the way it's performing. We don't even need to overperform. We just need to perform where we should be performing, because we are horribly underperforming at the moment. I think he will get a shock at how unfit the players are. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. He definitely will. I think my favorite pick was Howe applauding ASM, had a smile on his face. He did indeed. We'll get them up in a second. Come on, the TOON. You think they will win? Against Brentford, it's a big one. Honestly, I think we'll have to. I don't think it's do. I think we will. I think we need to. If you had a choice, would you have had instead of Eddie Howe? I don't know. I would just Eddie Howe all the way, mate. That's what I'll say. I mean, there was so many people linked. It's impossible to say. I mean, again, if it had happened in the summer and it was different timing, then I think Rafa would have been the one. But Rafa's already somewhere, and it feels a little bit like taking a step back. I think we've taken a step forward with Eddie Howe, and it's, as I say, it's fresh start. That was a big thing for me, was fresh start. And as much as maybe Rafa could have come back and he could have done a job, and I think the fans would have loved it, I'm also liking the idea of let's just get something new going. We've got the new manager. We've got the new owners. Now we've got the new manager. Let's really kick in and see where we can go from here. Oh, training wasn't until 2 p.m. It was put back. All right, that'll make sense why no one was spotted. Hello, Pete. Thanks for jumping in. Darlo looks knackered. Hello, Louis, mate. The lads were so pleased the session was over, but the bad news, you'll be back all week. Your holidays are over. Yeah, well, again, this is the thing. For me, I think Bruce down tools, didn't he? Bruce didn't want to be here anymore. He wanted to get sacked. He wanted his money. 2 days training a week. Again, and I've spoken about Eddie Howe, some of the interviews that I've been watching him doing, and talking about, being obsessed with the team and he takes it all on himself. He will take the full responsibility, not only of how the team plays, but basically of the fans, of the city. Because basically whether we play well or not on a Saturday at 3:00 makes a big difference to a lot of people's weekends. And him talking about the fact that that means a lot to him is huge. Hi, Tony. Hi, Ian. Yeah, I'm well, mate. Hope you are too. Yeah, we're talking going into some director of football chat there. Hiya, Geordie. Let's try and jump down. Having a night off tonight. Well said, mate. Not at all this season. So yeah, I'll tell you what. Let's jump into some of these pictures. So we'll try and bring it up on screen for you now. Obviously, if you don't follow Newcastle United on Twitter, then you may as well do. I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't follow them for the last 14 years, but it's genuinely worth it now. So there is Hang on, where are we? Get up on screen here. Can we zoom in a little bit, do I think? Yes, we can. Okay, so here we go. We'll start off with some of the photos of Eddie Howe taking his first training session today. You know what it is? Castore actually do some decent stuff. Some of the jackets I really like. The problem is they cost an absolute fortune. I'll have no money left if I went out and bought some of these tops. I'll just stick with the retro ones. So there's Eddie Howe. That was the one that someone commented just before saying that was their favourite photo of him cheering on St. Max. There's shout out to Matty from the Magpie channel getting his comments in the comment section there. The boss gets to work. That's him. You can see Joe Willock in the foreground there. I mean, that's another player that I really want to see, thrive under Eddie Howe. One of the things that Eddie Howe has also been speaking about in some of his past interviews, is the time taken to speak to players individually as well. What works best for them. I think Willock was so good for us last season. I mean, let's be honest, the lad can do no wrong in my eyes at this point. He's had a shocker start of the season. He has been injured. He's been forced to play with injections in his leg and all sorts. I mean, it sounds terrible the way he's been treated since he actually came in on a full-time basis. But for me, he was the man who saved us last season. So even if he doesn't have a great season this season, I think the work he did last season will never be forgotten. But hopefully, when he gets fully fit, he is going to can be a really big part of this side. I know in January, centre midfield is definitely a position that I think we need to strengthen. But getting Willock fit and making a positive impact on the pitch for us again would really be a big benefit to us. Tony, there, I want to see Lewis and Willock on the pitch at Brentford. You've got to hope so, mate. Again, I don't know what Willock's fitness is like right now. I think if he's fully fit and he is over this foot injury, then I think he has to play. You look at the midfield again. This is why we needed this. This is why we needed the new manager with some new ideas and that new manager bounce is because of the fact that these players just don't look bothered. I'm going to say it. I'm just going to put it out there. We don't look bothered at the moment. And this is why you need someone to come in with a fresh face and new ideas to change things up. If you're sitting doing the same training session week in, week out, and you're losing every game and the confidence is absolutely gone, then the incentive is lost. I know for us, it seems absolutely mad as a fan to think that these guys wouldn't be bothered. But that's just the way it looks from the outside in. So I'm really hoping that Eddie can get in there and change things up. And there's one of him there as well with his whistle. That's another thing you'll see very shortly. He was not scared to get involved. Ian saying the Castore stuff is lovely and good quality too. Yeah, mate, it does look good. As I say, I am actually quite a fan of that jacket. With Mike Ashley in charge, I would not have spent another penny in that shop, to be honest. But now that he's out, I am tempted to go down there on a payday and just see what I can find. But some of the stuff isn't particularly cheap, though. That's the only thing. I think I'd possibly only get one thing, and that would do us for a month. I want to see Kraft and Clark as far away from the pitch as possible. I mean, this is the thing. I think there's going to be a lot of changes coming in very soon to this side. And I think, players like Kraft, I mean, we'll talk about, giving Lewis a chance. Why is he so far away from the side? Fernandez getting banned because apparently he wasn't good enough. That was Graham Jones who said that, and Graham Jones is still there. So we'll have to see how we get on with that. But yeah, I do think there will be changes. The only thing I will say is, and I definitely want to see some changes quick. We need these changes fast. I think I saw it up here. Ian asking, you think we'll go with the 4 at the back? I do think we'll go with 4 at the back. I think that's one of the changes that Eddie Howe will probably make regardless of whether it's the right time to do it or not. But one thing that I do worry about is that, you know, these players have been accustomed to playing, you know, 5 at the back, sitting on the back foot, you know, deep defending. You know, what's amazing for us as Newcastle fans is Eddie Howe's way of playing football is not like that. He is an attack-minded footballer, manager who goes out to win games. He wants to put pressure on. He wants to be on the front foot. So all these things are exactly what we want and what we need to win a game. Never mind, you know, what we want in the next few years, just to win a game to start and then hopefully stay in the Prem. These are all the things we want. And I want that to be happening overnight. And I want to see it at Brentford. But, you know, these players are going to take a little bit of time to get used to it. And I also think this is where we will see certain players rise to the top. Certain players, again, like Lewis, who we've not seen yet. You know, Sean Longstaff, who was fantastic 2 seasons ago, who now can't even pass the ball straight. You know, I'm really hoping to see these players emerge and go, you know what? I can adopt this new style of play, and I can, because I think that will make a difference as well. You know, I think Tony mentioned it earlier about wanting to get Clark away from the squad. You know, if we're trying to play halfway line football with centre backs, I mean, Clark unfortunately has got no legs. You know, he can't play on the halfway line. That's half the reason we sit so deep, to be honest, because we lack pace at the back. I think Lascelles is probably the only one really. Maybe Shaw, but I think with Shaw's injuries, I think he's lost a bit of pace as well. So there will be changes. I just don't know if there'll be as many as we want them to be overnight. ASM Almiron on the wings, Willock number 10, Wilson number 9. Yeah, mate. I want to see these kind of players getting space to run into. We just play so deep and just hoist St. Max up on his own up front and lobbing the long ball. I think a lot of that will change very quickly. Okay, thank you for all the comments coming in. They're massively appreciated. Keep them coming in. I'll try and answer. I'll talk about as many as I can. Just to scroll up here, this is the video. So I will put it full screen for you guys to watch now. Obviously, you can't hear the sound. That's one thing that I'm looking to change as well. So hopefully in a few weeks' time, maybe we can get sound on these streams as well. But just to show you guys what it is now, I'll obviously listen in for you. We'll watch it once through, and then I'll explain what he's saying. Look at him getting involved in the training. Imagine Brucey doing that. With his whistle as well. I mean, straight away, before we even like go into it and like cut it down and talk about it a little bit more, I know you guys couldn't hear it, so apologies for that. That's something I will work on for upcoming streams. But I mean, straight away, the fact that he's in there with the players, you know, leading by example. You know, this is one big thing that you know, we don't really see. We don't see it on the pitch at the moment. We didn't see it off the pitch with Brucey. We saw it a little bit when Graham Jones first came in, and we saw him at that touchline, you know, really laying into the players, really trying to how 99 pace. I think so, mate. I think so. He's probably quicker than some of these guys we've got, and I bet he's got a better engine than probably a lot of them. 43-year-old Eddie Howe. Yeah, mate, the longer video is up as well. We'll just look at this one first, and then we'll move over and we'll watch the full thing together. But yeah, you know, leading by example, straight away on the pitch, actually having your manager out there with you on the pitch, showing you how it's done. You know, that's huge for me. I think that's really something that says a lot. And I do know that obviously not all managers are able to get out there and do it. But I do specifically think for our bunch of players who really have probably lazed around at training when they were there 2 times a week, you know, now to be going into 5 times a week, and having the manager actually out there going, you're half my age and you're probably getting paid twice what I am. I'm doing it. Why the hell aren't you? And I do think that will really help put stuff through into some of these players' heads. So he's with Joe Litton here, creating space. I mean, the fact that he's moving around there, obviously John Joe over there on the far side. Hopefully he's nowhere near the team. You know, this bit here, and again, you can't hear it. What he says here is, there's a lot of people just stood still. There's a lot of people just stood still. I mean, again, you know, this is absolutely right. We are so pedestrian, even in training, apparently. And again, you know, this is the thing. These are the changes we want to be bringing in quick. You know, these are the changes we want to be coming in as quickly as possible. You know, getting it active in training. Then, you know, again, practice makes perfect, as they say. You know, let's get it in training. Let's get it right in training. Let's see what we can do when we get out there on the pitch. You know, James is coming in there. I'm so impressed with him already. Yeah, mate. From what we've seen so far, it looks really good. I mean, we're not even. Yeah, we are 24 hours now of officially announced Eddie Howe. And as I say, it's not quite obviously the immense euphoria that was the takeover, but I think in terms of just that fresh start, like I know Graham Jones did what he did and he tried his best for a few games, but just to have this fresh spark of a new manager coming in, I think has definitely picked everyone up. And again, you know, the training here, what we want to see is really getting these players working for the money that they're getting paid, you know. Look, standing still, let's make the space. Create the space, touch inside. Look, showing them how it's done. Push each other. Look at this here, 99 pace from Eddie Howe. Like, I mean, we don't even see our own players run that quick on a match day, man. You know, it's absolutely mad. You know, I love seeing the fact that he's involved straight away. And I also love the fact that Newcastle United are actually showing this kind of thing and showing us what's going on. And again, I do think this is a big part of the new ownership to give full visibility to how things are going, you know, not only on the pitch, but off the pitch, decisions that are being made. And one thing I really like, again, is the fact that, you know, just talking about Eddie Howe for a second, again, being appointed as manager, and I touched on this at the start of the video, was the fact that, you know, some people have said, well, you know, why wasn't Eddie Howe appointed, you know, 24 hours after Brucey left? You know, why is it taking us 3 weeks? You know, quite often it's like when you're looking for something, it's always the last place you looked, and it's always the same with if you get offered your car insurance deal and you think it looks quite good, you don't just go, yep, I'll have it. Yeah, that's great. You go out, you look around, and you know, quite often you come back to the first offer that you were given and go, yeah, you were right, that was the best deal. I feel like that's what's happened with Eddie Howe. I think he was probably one of the first people to spoke to. He obviously left an incredibly good account of himself in the interview. And I think the owners did the right thing to go out there and speak to other people. You know, some people probably said no. Some people might have said yes, given an interview. And then at the end of the day, after doing all of that, they've probably ended up with one of the first blokes they spoke to. But at least they went out there and they did the due diligence and they spoke to a few people first. You know, you don't want to just go, yeah, okay, again, here's your car insurance offer. Okay, I'll take it. And then you turn around the corner and you see it half price on another quote website. You know, they've gone out there, they've listened to the first offer or the first interview. They've heard what Eddie Howe had to say about it. They've gone out, they've listened to some others, and they've come back and they've gone, you know what? You did give the best interview. You did have the best plan for the future. And again, talking about Eddie Howe a little bit more, that was a great analogy with the car insurance. Thank you, mate. I do try. But yeah, that's definitely the way I see it. And I do think a big part of that interview and what was said again is, yes, we've got hopefully some money coming in very soon, but at the very earliest we can spend it is January. And even then, I really don't think we're going to go out and spend 200 million in January. I just can't. I can't see it. I think maybe 50 to 60 million. You know, it's only a month. It's a horrible transfer window as it is. No one's really going to want to sell us players because the teams around us aren't going to want to let go of their players because they're probably struggling as well. I think we're going to be looking at, you know, top 4, top 6 teams with players who, you know, aren't getting game time. You know, we've been linked with Ake. Obviously, he has his links with Eddie Howe. He's at Man City and not getting any game time. So I think those kind of links are really good, but I would still think that's going to be a loan. You know, I'd rather we probably didn't go out and spend 70 million on Ake. You know, Man City are going to know we've got money as well. So they're probably going to double the price tag. You know, just give us Ake for a 6-month loan, get us through the season, finish 17th, and then in the summer we can go and spend some money. But the reason I got onto that was because I think Eddie Howe is that man who can work and develop the players we've already got. Mr. Jones coming in there, 50 mil, 2 loans, 2 signings. I think, yeah, mate. I think loans will definitely be not a bad shout again because we're still on this rebuild situation. I don't want to just go and, you know, spend 100 mil on 100 mil on one player isn't enough. You know, we need like, you know, at least 3, maybe 4, 5. You know, 2 loans and some shrewd deals. I think would do us well. I think one thing that I think is huge for us as well is the fact of where we sit when we get to January. Because, and God hope that we're not, but if we are still sat, like what I want, not that I'm asking much or anything, you know what I mean? What I would like is come January, for Eddie Howe to have worked this team out, have got some points under our belt, got some wins under our belt, and for us to be sitting in 16th, 15th, and basically realizing that, you know what it is? This squad is actually good enough to not get relegated without spending any money. Like, that would be the situation we want to be in come January. We want to have had Eddie Howe in. He's changed the style of play. He's changed the formation. He's developed a new ethos. He's created some confidence. If we can get all of that and then come January be sat in 16th, 15th place, maybe even 17th, the point is outside the relegation zone, we will be in a place where, for example, we didn't buy anyone in January, we would still have the players where we can not get relegated. I think the problem is if we go into January and we are in the relegation zone and we have to buy players and we have to bring people in, it builds pressure, prices go up, and it'll just become a scramble. To be honest, I don't want to see that. I want to see us basically be in almost a position of not power by any means, because we're still going to be down in the bottom half of the table fighting to stay up. But I just think to be out of that relegation zone, so at least the pressure is off a little bit, I think we'll definitely still buy players or at least bring loans in regardless. But to be able to know that if we do bring 2 players in instead of 5 or 6, well, you know what? The team we've got is actually doing all right under Eddie Howe, and maybe we don't need 6 new players. I think if we're sat in the relegation zone and we realize we do need 6 players, that's when things are going to get tough. And Carl's just jumped in there with the director of football shout. This is, yeah, I agree. I think having someone there now, and you know what it is? Eddie Howe got announced as head coach, didn't he? He got announced as head coach. And I do think that's because his main job here is the team and basically concentrate on not getting us relegated. You know, another shout for the director of football there. We want someone in tomorrow who can basically start lining up these January deals now. You know, let's get that. Imagine how much help it would be to step into the 1st of January and have 2-3 players ready to go, whether it be loans, whether it be signings, whether it's loans with options to buy. Lingard's a contract actually ends at the end of this season. So even if it was a loan with the option of a contract for him or something like that, I think that would be good. I've said it from the start. Takeover, Cody, captain, and Lingard. Yeah, I mean the captain situation's a new conversation altogether, and I'd be interested to hear or see whether the captaincy might move or not. Let me know in the comments what you think about Lascelles' captain. I think he is having a really tough time at the moment. Let's be honest, and I don't know if the captaincy is maybe making it better or worse for him. But you know what I'd rather see is Lascelles do better and then keep the captaincy. But I think if he continues with the poor performances, I think that there might need to be some changes. We're getting quite a lot of shouts in here for some various transfers. I think Tarkowski's definitely one, and I think Cody's a good one as well. For me, is the dream. Spend 120 mil and save and sell for 60 mil overall. Yeah, you know what it is. I think getting a few players out is probably not a bad shout as well. I don't know if we'll be able to do too much in the January, but it's certainly a shout. The Golden Gods looking for Hayden or Wilson as captain. Yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm just joking. He is available for director of football. I think not, mate. I really hope not. Lascelles been on that Lukaku diet of manure. Yeah, mate. Well, there's something definitely not quite right with Lascelles at the moment. James Ward-Prowse, a shout there for a transfer. How does this end? Sprint when I need to sprint, and then he blows the whistle up for the full time of training there. We'll scroll up again. There's a couple of more pictures. The comment is getting his message across. Again, I definitely think a big part of these training sessions now will be. Sorry, I'll put it full screen for you guys. Will be tactics, decisions to be made on the pitch, where to stand. We look pedestrian, we look lost, and we need to make these kind of changes. Another shout for Wilson, captain there as well. I mean, if you are watching as a video as well, be sure to let me know your thoughts down below on the captain situation. I think Lascelles is a great leader, but he's not playing well right now. No, I absolutely agree, Ethan. I would honestly prefer to see Lascelles improve and keep his captaincy. He's been doing it for 4 years now? 5? 5. It must be 5. 5 years captain now since we went down to the championship. Is that right? Tell me in the comments. It's definitely close to that. I mean, he's been doing it for a while, and again, I'd love to see not just him but the whole team, really improving under the new manager, and I've no doubt Eddie Howe will speak to him about that, and hopefully Jamal Lascelles will be 100% honest about what he is right now. A comment from Moggy here saying maybe taking away the captain's armband from Lascelles will get him back in form, as maybe just can't cope with the captaincy issues. I definitely think it's something that Eddie Howe needs to think about and bear in mind, because although Lascelles sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Adam P with the number one comment. Can he go home yet, please? Adam P is down at the training ground trying to grab the first shots of Eddie Howe leaving training. So apparently Eddie Howe's having himself a late night. And they do say that about Eddie Howe. He's the first in, he's the last out. Unlike Brucey, who's in fricking Portugal, while the players are stood outside the ground and can't get in because Brucey's taking the keys with him to Portugal. I think we will see a far better example led. Again, this is how we got onto the captaincy conversation, was talking about, the example led not only by the captain, but also the manager himself. And I think Eddie Howe getting involved in training has been massive. Can't see any sign of the Steves in training. Hopefully they've been sacked. Yeah, mate, I think they will be out on their way. We've got a Wilson and Dubravka shout for captain there. King Kevin Shearer is director of football. I'm not quite sure about that. I definitely want to see them involved in some capacity. I've seen a lot of this on Twitter. People talking about, apparently Lee Charnley was the guy going around selling the dream of Newcastle. Good God, we should have got King Kev back. I mean, he can sell Newcastle to anyone. He's the man you want to be involved. I think, especially like for investors and all those kind of boring things behind the scenes. I bet King Kev would have a great chat about him to kind of take those kind of talks Shelby as vice captain. It is a travesty, mate. You are very right about that. Adam P lives at the training ground. He does, mate. He's doing a good effort for us, you know, getting those picks. Adam just got a pick with Eddie. Check his Twitter. No way. Go on then. We'll plug him a little bit. Here we go. Is this going to be a troll? No way. Well done, Adam. What a lad. Get in, mate. Well, there you go. Eddie Howe has left the training ground now. That is confirmed by our man Adam P down at the training ground. Waited 11 hours for Eddie Howe paid off. I can finally go home. I mean, it's a good effort. Like it is a very good effort. Well done, Adam, mate. The wheelie bins are gold plated now. You know, those are the standards at our training ground. We haven't bothered getting a plunge pool. We've just gold plated the wheelie bins. You would think they would at least get a big paddling pool. You know what I mean? Yeah, James coming in there with a 12-hour shift for the Messiah. Not quite 11. Well, in fairness, I don't know if Adam was there before or after Eddie Howe. So you are right. I think Eddie Howe has definitely put in a big shift for his first day in. You know, again, you look at this, and obviously I speak to Adam a fair bit, and he told me, you know, Shelby's always the first one. I should probably like that as well. He's always the first one. Shelby always the first one leaving. You know, leaving early. You know, why is he leaving early? You know, all these kind of things are going to stop under Eddie Howe. You know, that's one massive thing that we need to see changing. And obviously, again, I want to see changes overnight. I want to see the formation change. I want to see the tactics change. I want to see some attacking football. I want to see so much more from this side. But, you know, the place that starts is on the training ground. And the fact that some of these players are leaving early, you know, getting in late and just generally just getting away with murder because Steve Bruce wasn't bothered is just criminal. So to have Eddie Howe come in now and, you know, again, lead by example, 13-day, not bad for the first day. It's absolutely spot on. You know, again, some of these interviews where he talks about, you know, he takes it on his shoulders. He wants to lead by example. He wants to do what's best for the players himself. And that's something that I haven't actually spoken about too much yet, but that was another thing that I wanted to mention about Eddie Howe was, you know, fair enough. We need Eddie Howe. You know, we need a new manager. We desperately need someone who's hungry. But again, sorry, this is what I'm getting onto. We needed someone who was hungry, you know, who wanted it. You know, Eddie Howe, in a way, needs us as well. And I think that makes a big difference. You know, you look at, again, we're linked with Emery. And yes, he's a highly regarded manager. He's managing Champions League football. No one's going to turn their nose up at that. But, you know, Emery doesn't need Newcastle. Emery has Villarreal. He's in the Champions League. You know, I think Eddie Howe probably had a fair few offers over the last couple of years when he's been out of the game. And he's kind of looked at them and gone, possibly some championship offers and thought, you know what, I don't really want to go down there. Maybe a couple of Premier League offers, who knows, probably closer to when he first left Bournemouth, but he obviously wanted to take his break. I almost feel like Eddie Howe kind of needs this job as much as we need him. He obviously left the Premier League after 5 fantastic seasons at Bournemouth, but he did ultimately get relegated in his last season with them. And did that taint that for the Bournemouth fans? I would possibly say no, because he did so much for them. And again, I'm not a Bournemouth fan. If you are, let me know. But from what I've heard, you know, the Bournemouth fans were so happy with what Eddie Howe did. But I think in terms of neutrals and just general Premier League football fans, you just automatically go to, oh, well, he got them relegated in the end, didn't he? And, you know, and he doesn't want that to be his lasting legacy. He wants to come in and hopefully get his foot in the door early on, fix up this Newcastle side. And I know people, again, talk about short-term and long-term projects of Newcastle. Some people see Eddie Howe as a short-term. leading into what may be a longer-term manager further up the road. You know, if Eddie Howe comes in and does a good job, keeps us up, gets the summer to spend, you know, manages to, and again, I'm not asking for the overnight dream here. You know, I'm not asking for us to go out and freaking buy Pep Guardiola and win the Premier League in 3 years. You know, if Eddie Howe came in, kept us in the league this year, spent some money in the summer, we'll finish 15th, 14th, season after that, we're pushing for mid-table. You know, I'm more than happy to stand by Eddie Howe and see how he can get on over the next 3 to 4 years. But as I say, Eddie Howe himself, getting his foot in the door early is huge. And as I say, I think the fact that he, left that Bournemouth job being relegated, I think he needs this as much as we do. He's been out of the job for a little while. You know, I don't know what other offers he may have had over the last year or so, but this is definitely a big offer that he probably couldn't turn down. So I think that weighs hugely for us as well. The fact that it means as much to him right now as it's going to mean for us. Okay, let's take a look at the full video uploaded by Newcastle United on YouTube, and I will put it full screen so you guys can see that instead of me. Can we put it in full screen? We can. Okay, so obviously the issue here is there is no sound. To be honest, I have watched some of it so far, and there isn't a whole lot of sound, to be honest. I'm assuming that wasn't about this video, but who knows? Let's Dan Hall thinks he's going to do a fantastic job. I mean, yeah, me too, mate. Yeah, look, that's the kind of comment I'm looking at. Lived in Bournemouth 25 years, even after relegation, he is a god. Yeah, I fully expect that, mate. I think what he did with the side, you know, bringing them from relegation in League Two all the way to the Premier League, I think it had a bit of a sad ending that it did. That obviously it did get relegated in the end, but as I say, I think he's still regarded as a great manager. Bournemouth fan here, great look for the rest of the seasons. I'm rooting for you and watching. Eddie Howe literally saved our club, not just from relegation, took us to new heights, legend. So yeah, and again, I think this is a huge thing for us, is that he really is going to take things to heart, as I say, and he's really going to try and do the best he can. One more comment. The general consensus with Bournemouth fans is he deserves better than relegation. Many managers are sacked, but they have it on their CV. Yeah, many managers are sacked before they have it on their CV. So yeah, that's another great point there. As I mentioned earlier, you know, and I'm sorry, I don't want to have a go at Sky Sports News or anything, but you know, I'm watching them discussing the Newcastle United situation, and the first thing they start saying is, oh well, the Newcastle fans won't like Eddie Howe. You know, he got Bournemouth relegated, didn't he? And those kind of comments just wind me up so much, because you've done no research. You know, you've not actually looked at it. Like Will's very kindly put in the chat here, you know, Eddie Howe, you know, he had five years in the Premier League with Bournemouth. He kept them up for 5 years in a row, you know, and again, massive respect to the Bournemouth players, but, you know, probably had a worse side than what we have right now. And it ultimately got relegated due to a pandemic and loads of injuries. You know, so to just flippantly throw it out there and go, oh, well, he got them relegated. But again, going back to my original point, that is kind of how he may be remembered by some people at the moment. So he's got a big job on his hands, don't get me wrong. But I do think this is going to mean as much to him as it does for us Newcastle fans right now. Okay, let's kick this off. So there he is. First day in training today. He's got his stopwatch on. What do you think they're going to be doing now? Bleep test. We'll watch it once and then we might go back through it and cut it up a little bit. But I mean, I love the first thing Eddie Howe did was go out there and go, right, let's find out how fit these guys are. Because let's be honest, he watched them against Brighton. He knows they're not fit. Jonesy there, having a little word with Eddie Howe. Again, I don't think Jones previously worked with Eddie. Richie, you'll know him from Bournemouth. I think Eddie Howe has worked with some of... Graham Jones has worked with some of Eddie Howe's backroom staff, but has not actually worked with Graham Jones, if I'm correct in saying that. Willock and Wilson. Obviously, Wilson has worked with Eddie Howe at Bournemouth previously. Then we'll make our way outside of the pitch. Dwight Gale there. I didn't know he was still around. Just explaining what they're going to be doing in the training here. There's Joey. Maxi. It's not a criticism. It's just a different type of training. And we watched this bit earlier. Was stood still. We need to use the space. I mean, I love that. I mean, he is criticizing them, isn't he? I mean, the fact that there he is, Eddie Howe, 99 pace down the wing. Creating space, moving around, showing them how it's done. Again, it's a massive thing. You know, can you imagine Steve Bruce out on the training ground doing this? I mean, sorry. Gailey. Look at this. Come on, move it quick, move it quick. Shelby's had a bit too much of the ball for my liking. Again, Willock, we really want to see some good things from him this season. He does. You bet he is. Look at them there. Sean Longstaff looks freaking knackered. Calm, relax. You know, let's use the ball. Let's not just lump it the first second we get it. Darlow looking shattered as well. I mean, this is what we want. I mean, this is what international break's all about. You know, we've got 2 weeks here to get these players into shape. You know, this is what every team should be doing. And I bet they are. Look, he's screaming his lungs out there. Here he goes at the end. No, still got a minute left. That was the end of the five-a-side tic-tacker. Hang on, sorry. I know we're going to watch this through, but I just want to listen to that again. I think he said last count as finished, not the best. So he is criticising the way we are training and how we're doing. Loving the pressing. Yeah, absolutely, Trev. Grab a drink. Not the best. Little twist, he said. I think they're looking at doing it. Attacking, defending program. Run round the pole. I mean, it's all fitness related. It's tick-a-tacker, but it's all fitness related as well. Hello, Jabba, mate. How are you? Hopefully happy with the Eddie Howe appointment. Go on, Shawnee. Maxi. Oh. Go on, Jamal. One of the youngsters in there as well. And also with some good defending advice at the end there, you know, get stuck in. Because that's another thing we do all the time. We back off so much. I mean, Lascelles is sat in freaking shark bar most of the time, the amount he backs off in a game. We need to actually try and challenge for the ball, not just sit so far back that it that the players just run around doing what they want. TOON review, evening, mate. In how we trust, we do, mate. We do. Absolutely. It's a good day today. As I say, it's you know, it's not quite the takeover night, but I do feel like it's got quite a nice little bit of a buzz around it. I think everyone's very happy. Obviously, we've just watched the training there. Alpha thinks it's looking good. Shelby don't look happy. I think Shelby's realising his time is up. He's realising that he's not going to get too much game time now. Most of the training they showed was working on transition of play. Yeah, Dan, I agree. I think transitions of play and I think the fitness side as well, I think both are huge. Again, I mean, our transition of play at the moment prior to Eddie Howe is defended the best we can and then lump the ball to the other end of the pitch. Hopefully St. Max or Wilson gets it, but if they don't, then we'll just let them have the ball back. Like, that is our attacking strategy at the minute. And I mean, there's no wonder we haven't won a game yet. Eddie Howe's going to have these lads putting 5 past Brentford. I mean, I think it's too early to say, Dan, but I certainly hope we can at least put a few in the net. I mean, it'll be very interesting. And again, you know, Eddie Howe, we spoke about it earlier, like high press. You know, he wants to attack on the front foot. He wants to go out there and win games. You know, he doesn't want to just sit back, defend, and hope for the best. You know, a lot of this season, we looked like we've gone out there and just gone, I hope this goes well. You're like, there is no game plan. We were just walking out onto the pitch and then going, oh, I hope this goes to plan. You know, it's just absolutely mad. But as I say, one of the big things with Eddie Howe is he has a game plan that he wants to execute correctly. And he wants to go out and win games, you know. One thing that I think will be very interesting to see is how we set up defensively. How? No pun intended. How we set up defensively. Will we go with the back 4? Because that is what a lot of people are predicting. Will it be... Again, this team are very used to playing a certain way. And as much as I want these changes to literally come in overnight and to play 4 at the back and have 2 up front and actually go for a game, you know, I do worry that we have some big games coming up very quickly, and to try and completely change what all these players have been doing for the last, you know, you could even go into Rafa, you can say the last 5 years, to suddenly have a completely different game plan. Might be tough to get into some of these players' heads. I think some of them will pick it up quick. And again, this is another thing. I think we will see certain players change against Brentford. I think there will be players who get the tactic and can play it. I think there could well be some players who we maybe expect to play who don't, because maybe they haven't quite been able to adapt to the way Eddie Howe is doing things now. But all of this, we will see all of this in a week and a half's time. So, and you know what it is? It's not often I'm excited for a game, or at least I'd never used to be until the takeover came through. But I am excited for this game. After the Brighton game, I was ready for a break, to be honest. But now having all of the hype through in the last 24 hours, I can't wait for that Brentford game, if I'm being honest. So that's what tactics look like. Yeah, mate, spot on. I think that's what Shelby was thinking in the background in that video, going, "All right, is this what we're meant to be doing?" It's weird that. Shelby keeping the post up at the end. Yeah, mate, I know. Jabba, I'm good, mate. How are you? Really happy about the appointment of Eddie Howe. Yeah, mate, I'm really good as well. Great watching some of this stuff that's being put out by the Newcastle United Twitter and YouTube today. It's been a great watch. Brentford, much better team at the minute. Well, this is the next thing. You know, we all obviously, I think there's more than just Newcastle fans in the chat. So if you support another team, actually, let me know. It'll be interesting to know who you guys support if you're not a Newcastle fan. But we are obviously, or I am anyway, talking fully about 2 weeks. We've got 2 weeks to fix this situation, to get out there before we take on Brentford, then Arsenal, but then Norwich and Burnley. You know, those 3 games are huge. Those 3 games are massive. You look at Norwich. They've just sacked their manager. They're going to have the new manager bounce. They're going to be going through the exact same process as we've been through. Probably bring them in 2 days before we play them, so they can have the ultimate manager bounce, because that's always the way it works. But anyway, these guys are going to be doing the exact same. These guys are in their international break. They are working hard. They are getting fitter. They are getting stronger. Brentford are going to want to bounce back, and after losing against Norwich in their last game. And as much as, you know, it's at St. James's Park, we will be absolutely up for it. They have looked way better than we have this season, and they are playing second bottom in the league. They are looking at this game in a week and a half's time and thinking we should be getting 3 points, you know? So as much as, I want to see us do well, and I really want to see a win. And I honestly do think with the help of Eddie Howe and a new boost, a new spark, we have well, let's be honest, we've got a much better chance than we did, if it was still under Graham Jones. But it's going to be tough. Absolutely. Yeah, man, they looked absolutely shattered. But again, this is what it's for. This is like day one of a 2-week session. I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps them going all week like this, and then come next week, then tone it down a little bit so that they're not shattered for the game against Brentford. But the fact that they're actually going to be training 5 days a week rather than 2, I think speaks massive volumes. I know. Wait till they do a full day's training. Absolutely, mate. You know what it is, Gav? Sapper Gav. I would laugh if Howe got the best out of John Joe Shelby. Again, who knows at this point? Who knows? I would love it if he did as well. I think all Newcastle fans would say that deep down in there somewhere, there is, or at least there definitely used to be, a good player inside John Joe Shelby. The problem yet again is that he doesn't do enough. It's like, well, it's a terrible example, but I'm going to use it anyway. Ronaldo at Manchester United, okay? Ronaldo doesn't really defend. He's been getting stick for not defending, which I think is crazy, to be honest, because you don't buy Ronaldo to defend. You buy him to score goals, create assists, whatever, and you let him off with not doing the dirty work because he does so much going forward. We play Shelby. He doesn't do any of the dirty work. He doesn't do any of the forward work. And then you go, well, what the hell was the point in playing him anyway? If Shelby scored 1 goal in every 2 games, if Shelby literally did nothing, literally sat in the centre circle, but stood up and scored a goal every 2 games, we'd probably just play him anyway, because we need goals and we need something from him. But the fact that he doesn't score goals, he doesn't even do his Hollywood passes anymore. And when he does, he kicks them straight into the stands. So, but like you said, though, I think there will definitely be a few players who we may not expect to do well under Eddie Howe emerge. But a lot of people are talking about players like Lewis who don't get the time of day at the minute. Who knows? Maybe John Joe Shelby could be one as well. He does look knackered. Yeah, watch the clip, back to basics. I think I'll put it on again, and I'll stop it a couple of more times because we did just watch it through in one go there. Return of Gale. I think I've just said about players flourishing under a manager. I think it won't be Gale, to be honest. I think Gale's is a bit done now. I mean, there's no reason we can't give him at least a little bit of game time. I mean, the big thing for us again, and I know we'll obviously see what happens in January, but the big worry for me still is that Callum Wilson is our only fit striker. And God forbid, I'm not even going to say it. You can just guess what I'm saying, but I mean, in terms of winning games and what happens next, without Wilson, it would be really tough. So need him to get through these next few months, and then in January we'll have to bring in a player. Luke's saying there next 3 wins are a must. Well, there's Arsenal in the middle of that. So you've got Brentford, Arsenal, which again, who knows? If we are able to go on and against, and this is the big thing for us playing against Brentford. Yeah, big BLS has just put it in there. The big thing at the minute is I just want to get a good start. Again, we talk about the players, they're not fit enough. The position is terrible. But one of the big things as well is that we have no confidence. We have no confidence. No one believes we're going to win. The fans don't believe it. Brucey and Graham Jones didn't believe it. The players don't believe it. Like, if no one believes it's going to happen, it just won't happen. That's the way it is. It just won't happen. Well, Eddie Howe has now come in, and he will believe that we can do it. And that is what he needs to get into these players' heads. And if we are able to go and beat Brentford in that first game, like the switch will go in people's heads and go, oh, we can't actually do this. We can't actually go and get 3 points. And the minute that happens, it will be so much easier to get a bit of a run under our wings. Because at the minute, until you get that first win, it's just going to be so grindy. So I really hope that we can get it against Brentford, and then we can see how we get on in the next few. But in the example I use actually is, if any of you guys watched the Tottenham Hotspur documentary, where Jose Mourinho went in, and that was one of the things he talked about in the documentary was getting these players to actually have a winning mindset. We aren't anywhere near that. We haven't even got a draw mindset. We are just lose. And if we get a draw, it's down to luck by the most of the time. So yeah, having a manager who actually come in and instill some actual belief into these players is massive. And again, we'll take one quick look at this video again. I think that's one big thing. Tony, 3-6 pointers it is, mate. And I really, especially with Newcastle, because we will lose against the teams we should be doing well against, and then we'll pull off some sort of magical spell against a team that we have no right to be getting any points from. So, it's never the end, but and I've already spoken about this stat. I'll put it out to you guys again here, because this is a big one. If you're not scared of relegation yet, then this will probably make you. Only twice have teams not won in their first 11 games and not been relegated. And one was Derby in the 2000s, and one was Blackburn in the 90s. So if we win against Brentford and manage to stay up at the end of the season, we will be the third team in history to do that. Okay? If we lose against Brentford, so we will have not won a game in 12, and then we stay up, we will be the first team ever to do that, to have not won in the first 12 and stayed up. So this is why it's getting a bit scary. It's a big hill to climb. I think we will get 10 points from the next 4 games. I mean, I would take that straight away. Absolutely. Draw against Arsenal, beat the other 3. Or who knows, as I say, more like us will probably beat Arsenal and draw against Norwich. But yeah, absolutely. Okay, thank you for all the comments coming in. Bournemouth fan here. I have acquired a very special manager. Oh, you've acquired a very special manager. Turn Bournemouth around, and we'll do the same at Newcastle. I really hope so, mate. Eddie Howe is organised. You have a chance now. I think so. I think Eddie is what we needed, that spark to light the fire under their bums. And hopefully they will get the first win after the international break. I totally agree with you, mate. This is it. And, you know what? Let's put this full screen again. And I know I didn't stop it last time through. I'll stop it when he talks this time. Again, we're going to see him training with the players. We're going to see him leading by example. We're going to see him showing these players what they should be doing. It makes a huge difference. Okay, let's go. So here he is arriving at training again. Stopwatch on. And if you didn't see it the first time round, what do you think they're doing here? Bleep test. Get these guys sorted. Yeah, scary stats. I know, Dan. They really are. We missed an Arsenal. I really hope so. Yeah, 12-hour day from Eddie Howe as well. This is how he started the day, finding out what the fitness was like of these players. I mean, Graham Jones standing there talking to him. I mentioned this earlier. If I'm not incorrect, I think Jones has worked with Eddie Howe's backroom staff previously, but has not actually worked with Eddie Howe yet. And there's a message in here from James. Where is the assistant, James Tyndall? I never saw him in the vid. No, mate, I don't think I did either. We'll look out for him now. From what I understand, obviously, the reason it took a little bit longer for everything to go through was because he was still working out these final negotiations with his backroom staff. But I think you've got to assume that it's going over the line. Oh, I love the shirt, mate. Thank you very much. Yeah, mate, I'm a massive fan of the retro stuff. I've got to say, I love the brown nail badge as well. Okay, let's go. Oh, hang on, I'll put it full screen again. Matt Ritchie, obviously we know him. He knows Eddie Howe very well. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Ritchie, because obviously Ritchie's been playing at left back, hasn't he, for us, or full back. I really can't see him still doing the same with Ritchie now. I think it'll be a flat back four. I think he'll likely have Ritchie, if he plays, further up the wing. And again, we'll have to see Fraser. Do we think he's going to make a comeback under Eddie Howe, or do we think that he's gone? Nice to see Ritchie smile. Yeah, he was looking pretty happy in that video, wasn't he? I know. Hey, there he is. He's loving it. Oh, look, there you go. Tyndall was there. He just isn't in the clips. Okay, thank you for that, mate. Look, Longstaff looked dead after the bleep test. Yeah, we'll find Longstaff crying in a second. Yeah, I mean, I'll be really interested to see. Well, Fraser will be there, won't he? Joey St. Max Fernandez. Fernandez has been unbanned. Apparently he's allowed back in again since Graham Jones's ridiculous decision to ban Fernandez. There is a comment in here just saying that Fraser's injured again, and that's why he apparently isn't there. Dwight Gale there, he's obviously getting involved. Whether we sees any game time under Eddie Howe, I really don't think so. Out on the pitch there. I mean, we've obviously we looked at the main man, Adam P, was down at the training ground today, got a picture with Eddie Howe as well, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh, right, yeah, Fraser's injured and on international duty. Okay, that's fair. Is that actually right? Mate, if you're right, then big up you. Oh, wow. Mind blowing. Okay, let's give this a go. It was that easy. Oh, God. Right, okay. You'll have to let me know what the audio sounds like when I press go. Hang on, let's get that off first. Okay, here we go. You hear that? It's going to go straight to the wide man. So, could be a centre half. Back Send midfield player, feed on wide man. Nice, John Joe. What a pass. Joe Linton there. Let me know if you can hear that audio, by the way, because it's quite low on my headphones, so I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. One thing I would be really interested to see with Joe Linton this year. Yes, we have audio. He is a genius. If only you were here in the second minute of the stream, my friend. Then we could have had audio from the start. Hey, the audio's for me. Oh, well, I've learned a new lesson anyway. We'll get there, lads. Don't worry. See you at TOON Tuesdays. Next Tuesday, every Tuesday, 6:30. We will have audio next time. Loud and clear. Oh, you see, we got there in the end. Joe Linton ain't got Scooby-Doo. What's going on? He is looking a little bit lost there. Let's be honest. But one thing I was going to say about Joe Linton, and it'll be really interesting to see how makes changes to our side, because one thing he likes to do is play 4-4-2 or 4-4-1-1. And I know there was some comments earlier about Joe Willock possibly being that guy in behind. I think one thing that and you'll have to let me know whether you agree or not. One thing that I did actually think is that when Wilson played up top for Bournemouth alongside King, effectively Wilson was the out-and-out striker, and then what King did was all that pressure work, was all that hard work, running around, getting like pressurizing the defense. I mean, as I say, for us at the minute, we sit on our 18-yard box and just wait for the ball to come. You know, if we are going to play this on the front foot football like Eddie Howe wants to do, again, you know, poor Joe Linton. He hasn't got the first touch. I don't think he's got a second touch either, to be honest. But God bless him, he works hard, and I think possibly one position we could see him do well in is that from the front pressure. And I really think that's one thing that Joe Linton could bring to our side. Definitely in between, you know, the January transfer and what happens next. Yeah, I mean, again, Miggy in behind as well. I think Miggy would do that work. I just think with Joe Linton, he's just got that build, hasn't he, where he can really put himself out there and, you know, run his socks into the ground. You know what? Give Joe Linton 60 minutes, run the hell out of it, mate. Absolutely go for it. Put those defenders under pressure. Don't let them have a second touch. 60 minutes, bring Miggy on. Let somebody else have a go. You know, Joe, he hasn't got to do it for 90 minutes. But we definitely need to see some front foot pressure. Jabba coming in there. Yeah, if you are watching and you haven't liked the stream yet, please do, and do subscribe. As I say, this is my weekly show, TOON Tuesdays, every Tuesday at 6:30. So if you're around next Tuesday, be sure to drop in and say hello. And I do a lot of Newcastle content generally, if you're a Newcastle fan. And I also have content from about other teams as well. So if you're a fan, then hit that subscribe button. All right, let's jump back in here. Did you catch that? I'll play it again. All right. It's not a criticism, it's just a different type of training. Eddie Howe letting the players know that they're not quite doing what he wants at the moment. Which again, it's massive. I think the fact that we brought the new manager in, we've spoken about it already. The new manager bounced, the new thoughts, the new tactics, the new plan. Being able to come in here and kind of mix things up and show them a different way. You know, the way we've been doing it ain't working. Yeah, not PB, not a criticism, but you're 19th in the league. Yeah, mate, you're right. You know, not a criticism, but what we have been doing for the first 11 games of this season isn't good. And we need to go and fix it quickly.
Okay, so you create your space, you then touch inside. I am going. I'm not going to. If I sprint straight away and end up past the 18-yard line.
Ready?
I've got to find my overlap to go and come into Maxi. Yes!
Go. 99 pace, Eddie Howe. Someone make the meme quick.
So I'm stood where Joe is. Okay, so we want to create space. So I'm going to be going away in the build-up phase.
He looks happy, doesn't he, Shelby? He looks absolutely knackered. He's going, oh, God, have I got to do this in the match as well? Have I got to run around in these matches? I just like to stand on the halfway line and don't do anything. Yeah, good shout, Jack. New plan. Surely that should just be a plan. I think it's a good point, to be honest. You know, never mind plan B, C, and D. I mean, we just need plan A to start with, don't we? Oh, brilliant. Refreshing to see players need different tactics. Yeah, mate. We needed a big refresh. We got the refresh with the new owners. I think that obviously made everyone very excited about what could be. But the big thing was just on the training ground. I mean, as great as things are starting to happen off the pitch, you know, and by that I mean a new lick of paint on St. James's Park, cleaning the roof for a change. You know, these are the tiny little things that, you know, if you're not a Newcastle fan, you probably take for granted, you know, that these things are actually happening. Although say that, I mean, there's a lot of fans of lower league sides who will obviously have struggles as well. Not to say, and I'm probably more struggles than we do. But, you know, for a Premier League side to not have painted or cleaned up in the last 14 years is mad. So the owners are obviously doing this stuff off the pitch. That was very exciting for us as fans. But realistically, what you also need is to be doing stuff on the pitch as well. So the fact that things are actually starting to have a bit of a turn now, a bit of a change, and something to be a little bit excited about again, is massive for us. It's a criticism under his breath. It's more of an observation. Yeah, mate. Well, again, you know, oh, I know, Dan. I did spot these as well. I did spot them. I was very sad to see them still at the training ground. The Sports Direct signs are still there. So frustrating. God. I mean, hopefully that'll be the final piece of the puzzle come the summer when they're finally gone. That'll be massive. I will throw it out there. If you are watching and you're not subscribed, then please do. I'm very close to 24,000 subscribers. So if you all subscribe now, I think that would put me over the line. So if you could do, if you're not already, please hit the button. Let's jump into this again. Gailey. Willock looked knackered there as well, didn't he? Oh, in fairness to the poor bloke, he's only just coming back from injury. Look at Willock here. Oh, he looks tired. Good. You know, quick tempo, fast. I mean, it would have been great if Newcastle had actually posted something under the Steve Bruce regime so we could look at the difference as well. I think that would have been very funny as well. I mean, that man there in the background, Sean Longstaff, you know, he's a player that I think a lot of Newcastle fans would really like to see step up to the mark again. 2 years ago, he was worth 40 million, supposedly. 3 years ago, was it? You know, where the hell's that player gone? He's doing a Movember by the looks of things. Little tash there. But yeah, you know, he's a local lad. He burst onto the scene with his brother. Very quickly, pretty much put himself into the first 11. You know, he very quickly became a player who was on the team sheet without too many questions. And then from what seemed, well, it was the injury, wasn't it? It was the injury that did him. And then he just hasn't been the same man since then. I would really like to see Sean Longstaff, you know, under a new lease of life with Eddie Howe, you know, get his position back in the team and start doing the job the job that he can do. Tony here, Sean Longtash, that is very quick and witty. Well done for that comment, mate. That's hilarious. Sean Longtash, beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. First time watching, already subbed and liked. Great guy. Thanks very much. Oh, girl, to be fair. Thank you very much for that. Anyone else who hits that sub button would be much appreciated. Let's jump back into here again, see what he has to say. We'll go back a few minutes as well. Look at Willock there. Go on, Joey. You know what, Matt Ritchie's absolutely buzzing, isn't he? We've seen him smiling earlier. And then he is fist bumping Joe Willock here and right in front of the screen here. Look at him smiling. Richie is absolutely loving this Eddie Howe stuff. Talking about movement. Look at him here. He's so committed. Day one. Look at the face of him there. I mean, you cannot sit and be a little bit in awe of that. I mean, imagine Steve Bruce getting involved like this and having such determination on his face. Is absolutely quality. Can you see the young lads giving a chance? I mean, this is another huge thing with Eddie Howe, and again, this is the reason I like the appointment of Eddie Howe, because I mean, I'm talking about the long staff. I mean, I've seen a few comments for seeing, what's Matty doing? Apparently, from what I've heard, he's not had a great time in Aberdeen so far. So I don't know whether it would necessarily bring him back, but he definitely has another year at the end of this year. But talking about young players a chance, I think it's a fresh start for everyone. Again, that's what I really like. I know Graham Jones is there. The chances are he probably has mentioned one or two things to Eddie of what he thinks. But again, listening to some of the Bournemouth chats that I've heard, I actually watched part of a Bournemouth podcast earlier on of some Bournemouth fans talking about the Newcastle, talking about Eddie Howe joining Newcastle, and it was really good to listen to. One of the things they kind of said was, can Graham Jones maybe have an influence? And what they said was, at the end of the day, Eddie Howe knows what he wants and he'll do it his way. I think he will definitely listen to opinion, but I think he'll do it the way he wants to do it. And I think giving some of these young players a chance, absolute fresh start. And again, someone put it in the chat earlier. Someone said, can Shelvey flourish under Eddie Howe? I mean, we just don't know. What we want is for, again, players to pick up his style of play and run with it and see what they can do. New subscriber there from Kenya. Welcome, mate. Thank you for jumping in the stream, and thank you, Dan, for liking. Under 21's 1-0 up. Yeah, mate. I did see they were playing tonight. Thank you for letting us know. Shelby only playing not. Yeah, well, that's one thing that Shelby has, and then we know that is he's definitely got an engine on him. And yeah, Bournemouth to Richie. Yeah, I think we are slowly bringing everyone over at this point, aren't we? Okay, let's go again. Look at Darlow there. Oh, it's great, isn't it? Oh, he loves it. I mean, poor Darlow. I mean, he only has to do is stand on the line. He hasn't normally got to do any work. Oh, am I getting there? I thought I heard a message coming through there. Never mind. Darlow, loving life. Yeah, he's loving the new life under Richie, under Eddie Howe. Sorry.
Okay, that's Cal's finished. Not the best. Okay. Little twist, guys. Whoa. Cal, little twist. So you attack with 3. You will then defend with 2. Plus. Really. Get round the pole. So one of the attackers, it can be anyone, probably the nearest one would be my suggestion, has to run back round the pole and come back to try and make a 3v3. Okay, and Gailey's coming back in now. So it's a 3v2 again. Gailey touches the ball, that's worth a goal for his team. So this recovery run has got a job. It's a sprint, and it's a sprint. Get a point for your team.
Everyone looks knackered though on that. I mean, I could just sit here and point everyone out, couldn't I? They all look tired. I mean, poor Gailey, as he's being called by Eddie Howe, Gailey. I mean, he's getting on, and I'm not surprised he's knackered. Aaron just subbed, first time watching, mate. Thank you very much for the sub, mate. It's massively appreciated. As I say, I'm closing in on that 24,000 subscribers. So if you're not subbed already, that would be great. The great man from New Zealand jumping on it as well. Get in, lad. Thank you.
Bailey touches the ball, that's worth a goal for his team. So this recovery run has got a job. It's a sprint, and it's a sprint. Get a point for your team by getting any touch on the ball. Recovery runs. Massive thing. Does everyone understand? Oh, it's a slow attack, lads.
Oh, look at that step over from St. Max as well. I mean, that's not bad, is it? Can we put that in there super slow-mo? Let's give that a go. Oh, look at him here. Yeah, it's a positive. They're tiring them out. It shows how much Eddie Howe wants out of his players. Like, yeah, 100% agree, mate. He expects a lot. He wants a lot. And, it shows you when he was getting involved in the training himself, and making movements and making that run down the wing that was so earlier on. That's the kind of thing he's expecting them to do. The fact that he's shown them what he can do at 43 years old and on half the wages. He can do it. Like, it should be easy for these players. Thank you, Paul, for jumping on and subscribing. That is massively appreciated. We'll follow you guys up the Cherries and up Newcastle. What a lad. Thank you. And another one from Alfie there from Singapore. Big group of the Mags. Yeah, absolutely buzzing with Eddie Howe. And a new sub from Blade. Love the way you break everything down. Bring on the future. How are the lads? Get in. And Isle, first time here. I sub. Thank you very much, mate. Massively appreciated. Let's get a slow motion Saint Max on to celebrate. Oh, the volume's not very nice. Oh, let's leave it on. Oh, I can't. It sounds like they're squealing. We're turning the sound off for that. I can't listen to that any longer. Let's go again though. I live what? I'm not gonna say that, mate. Go on, Maxi. Look at that. Boom. Callum Wilson's got no chance. Who's this? Is it Johnson, the centre back at Brentford? He's got no chance, lads. Yeah. I mean, he could probably have done that around the cells as well, if we're being perfectly honest. And then let's watch it through to the end.
My advice, if you get your pass in as early as you possibly can. Yes, whoever's got the ball, so you're going to go then. Can't put it for the okay, put it in. Thank you. You need to fix the defender. The only way you can fix the defender rigid is to drive it in once you receive the ball at your feet.
And there you go. And there's us right there. Eddie Howe, first day at Newcastle, TOON Tuesdays live. As I say, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to jump in. I do this every Tuesday. So I will be back live next Tuesday. I will be at 6:30 again next Tuesday. If you are watching it as a video, thank you for sticking with me for over an hour and a half. It has been good fun. There has been a lot to celebrate today with Eddie Howe. It's been brilliant to see how he's getting on so far. Thank you to all the new subscribers that we've had today. There's another one there. The Maths Debater. Up the Mags, new sub here. Thank you very much, mate. As I say, if you haven't subscribed yet and you are watching, then please be sure to jump in, closing in on that 24,000 subscribers. And if I could get it tonight, that would be top quality. And that is where I am going to end the stream. So thank you to every much who has spent the last hour and a half with me. It has been a lot of fun again. Yeah, man, an hour and a half. I know it was good. I mean, it's brilliant to see some of this stuff that Newcastle United are putting out there. I mean, what I want to see is like open day training days, like allowing the fans in, coming to watch. I mean, all that kind of stuff would be quality, and I'm really hoping we will see some of that really soon. So yeah, thank you all for watching. As always, again, drop a like on the way out and subscribe if you haven't already. It's been a great chat, so thank you for getting involved. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Obviously, it's international break, so there'll be no Premier League predictions this week, but I do have a couple of other videos planned, so be sure to keep your eyes peeled on the channel. And I will again, as I say, be doing TOON Tuesdays next week. So at the very least, keep your eyes out for that going live. I will put a reminder thing up on the channel, so look out for that. Hey, and a sub from Eric in California. Thank you very much, mate. All right, guys, thanks for watching. As always, drop a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you later.